Boy Light back into another YouTube video. In today's video, we're talking about another talking video, and it's gonna be why I think the first two Thor movies in the Thor trilogy were bad. Now, technically, there's gonna be four movies of Thor, but currently at this moment, at the time of this recording, there's only three movies out. So yeah, I'm not gonna go into too much in detail on how I think Ragnarok was better than that. I'll save that for kind of like a review or a let's talk video. So yeah, I'm mainly gonna be talking about the first two. It's not gonna be a review. I'm just gonna say why I think they were just bad. So yeah, let's get into this. The two Thor movies were um widely known that they were just terrible movies, and Thor looked like it was gonna be a bad. Just they had the bad movies there, and it just didn't look good for Thor, honestly. Um, yeah, some people, in my opinion, I think it's the worst trilogy. Even adding Thor Ragnarok, I think Thor Ragnarok uh, isn't really enough to save the whole trilogy. It was a good movie, get me, that's right, but I really enjoyed that movie. Probably one of my favorite MCU movies ever. Uh, but yeah, we're basically talking about the first two. Some other people might say, uh, sorry about that. Iron Man is the worst one. Some people might say that, but in my opinion, I think it might be Thor. Yeah. So let me talk about why I'm saying this. So Thor, the first Thor, just called Thor. It's I in my opinion, it's the worst MCU movie. Don't like it at all. I can barely even watch it sometimes. Um, yeah, my opinion has definitely changed over the years. I'll say that it's about 10 years. So it's approaching 10 years old. The movie. Then we have Thor: The Dark World, which is approaching. I think it came out in 2013. 2023 is gonna be the 10-year date, like 7, 8 years around there. So yeah, yeah, I don't know where to start with this. I guess let's just talk about why I hate Thor. I mean, I don't like Thor. I don't like the first one. It's missing. The music is just not there. Um, Thor himself, I kind of dislike Thor. He kind of look. I guess the point of the story is to make him like a total, not jerk, but like a hothead kind of guy who is kind of like full of himself or whatever, and turn into like a more worthy person. I think that's what the main goal of that story was. I honestly don't know what to say about that. Uh, in terms of the villain was also stupid. I didn't really like the villain either. Some can argue that the villain was the Frost Giant. Some can argue that Loki was the villain. Some can even argue that the Destroyer was the villain. And that's where I don't really like it. Just because, like, who's the main villain? In my opinion, I think it's Loki. But then again, he's not really fighting Loki at all, really. In the thing, the Destroyer, the fight scene between Thor and the Destroyer, I don't, I was not a huge fan of that. I'm gonna be honest. Did not like that. The Frost Giants were just used terribly. I did not like the way they were portrayed. They were portrayed as like some kind of evil kind of ice people that are trying to take over Asgard. But like they didn't have much fighting scenes, and it wasn't really good. And then they ended up having to sign a treaty and all this nonsense. But yeah, I disliked that a lot. Next thing is they made it a little bit more complicated. Now, I'm not a huge fan, like some people like this, but I'm not a huge fan of when movies are like especially in the comic book genre, where we're not seeing this too much in like comic books. And I'm not just saying, oh, it has to be comic book accurate. I'm just saying that the science stuff in it is kind of hard to understand, really. Um, yeah, it's kind of hard to understand, really, on the thing, especially when you're like not like a science person or whatever. I find it's hard to understand, and I understand it now more. But like, say when I was younger, when I originally watched this movie, I partially didn't understand it. Same with Odin. The Odin thing was so stupid. Like they made him, they made the viewers think maybe he's dead, but really he was knocked out, which is very stupid in my opinion. I dislike that a lot. Uh, Dialogue, in terms of dialogue, I wasn't a fan either. In acting, it wasn't good. It was Chris Hemsworth definitely got a lot better at acting, but Thor is just not it. To be honest with you, it's just not very good. Um, yeah, I guess that's it basically from probably Thor. Now we move on to kind of Thor 2, where it kind of has the same problems. I can't remember who directs the movies, but it might have been the same director as the first one. Because again, it was kind of missing music. I didn't really like any of the music at all. You could say music taste, but personally, I don't care what genre it is. I just like it to set the feeling well and set the scene well and stuff. Um, I kind of give Thor: The Dark World a slight edge over Thor, just because the action scenes, in my opinion, are just much better. I like the action scenes. The action scenes aren't that bad. Um, Malekith is just so stupid. The way they made Malekith in the movie is so bad. It was not good. Because really they downplayed him. I can't even lie. They downplayed him. He was using an Infinity Stone, and he was still downplayed, which I dislike. And I understand they have to do that, but they downplayed him way too much. They basically, in the end of the movie, there wasn't really a villain fight. It was more of just Thor beating the hell out of Malekith. Basically, that's what it was. Uh, I think Curse was more of a villain than Malekith, to be honest with you. The Dark Elf stuff just was terribly done. It was not good. Ending battle scene, not good. Thor barely beat up any of them or anything. That's something I like a lot about superhero movies as well as the action in terms of fighting. Just fighting like other like henchmen as well. That's what I find I like it more like. That's kind of part of the reason why I like Iron Man 3, for example, is the fighting scenes at the end when the suits are all fighting the extremists and stuff. And Thor: Dark World did not have that. Uh, Chris Hemsworth's acting got pretty much better. I far more enjoyed it that more than Thor. Uh, yeah, Thor's costume also was what's much better. Uh, in my opinion, in Thor, it looked like he was wearing like some makeup or something. Uh, I don't know if that was the case or not, but yeah, I think he like scratched that idea, or he was like really tanned or something. I don't know. He just looks very different than in the two different sequels and stuff. Yeah, I talked about the music. We talked about the dialogue. The action scenes were much better. The curse action scene when he was in the dungeon, I actually liked that one. It really kind of saved the movie for me. If that wasn't done well, I would have probably not liked this movie a lot more. But yeah, I enjoy that scene. It's a good action scene, especially the one at the start of the movie. I wish he could have got a little snippet, little bit longer of action scene. I would have liked that better, but screen time and stuff. So that's not a huge complaint. Yeah, yeah. Malekith was downplayed. Loki actually kind of saved the movie as well for me in the second one. I like Tom Hiddleston did an excellent job as Loki. The first one, not so much. In my opinion, that movie was just terrible in terms of that. But in the Dark World, you kind of really felt it. Kind of. I mean, his death scene is kind of irrelevant. Honestly, once you figure out that he's not really dead, if that was his actual death scene, it would have been much better. But that's not actually his death scene. So yeah, that's really it. Honestly, I'm not gonna talk about Thor Ragnarok. I'll save that for a different video, like more of a review video. But yeah, comment down below what you guys think of these two movies here, Thor and Thor: The Dark World. I'm curious to think. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.